Okay guys, so this is The Angry Prepper. Thank you for watching. Today's episode is going to be on camping etiquettes. So the reason why I'm doing this video is apparently people don't give a shit anymore. And this video is probably for those who are just starting out with camping. So if you're a seasoned camper or hiker or outdoorsman, this video is not for you because you already know these things. At least I hope you do, all right? But if you're on the fence about what to do and what not to do, then this video is for you. So the other side of that coin is there are people out there who just don't give a shit. They don't care what they do when they go out there. They don't care that they leave their trash on the ground. They don't care to camp right on a trail. They don't even care that they piss in a stream, knowing or thinking, actually knowing that somebody could possibly be drinking it from down the stream, further down. Sorry. So these are etiquettes that I feel like need to be put out there and said. I'm not sure if there are too many videos on it. Maybe people don't care. Whatever the case is, I'm still doing this video. So anyway, first, camping etiquette. Don'ts. We're going to start with the don'ts. Do not camp or set up your tent near or on the trail. That is a bad idea. One, because you're blocking people's path. Two, it puts you right in the way of things, right? Now, if I could see if it's at night and you get a little confused or you're nervous and you want to put your camp right by the trail, if it's your first time out, I get it. But if it's not your first time out, don't do it. Yeah, that's all I can say. Don't put your tent and don't camp near the trails. You're supposed to be, if I'm not mistaken, anywhere between 50 to 100 feet away from the trail when you set up your camp, right? So keep that in mind, anywhere between 50 to 100 feet. There are a lot of places like in the Appalachian Trail, you're not allowed to camp unless you're an Appalachian hiker, right? So if you're an AT hiker, you can camp right by the trail. The Pacific Trail hike over there in the California on the West Coast, and then the Appalachian Trail hike. If you're neither of those hikers, stay off the trail, camp 50 to 100 feet off the trail. My personal pet peeve, do not put your tent inside of a lean-to or man-made structure. That irks me more than anything in the world. To come to a lean-to and see a tent sitting inside a lean-to. Don't do it. You have a tent, put it outside. If you don't have a tent, sleep in a lean-to. The lean-to are for those who don't have a shelter and were looking to sleep in there, or maybe they lost their shelter, shelter got damaged, and now they need to sleep in there. Don't set up your tent in a lean-to. I don't care how small it is and it's off to the side. Don't do it. It's stupid. It's disrespectful, right? And if someone needs the lean-to in an emergency, now you got your giant tent inside it. Don't do it. Don't build a raging fire. There is no reason why, for example, Friday morning you get there, all of Friday afternoon you're collecting firewood, and by Saturday night you have a bonfire that's big enough for the gods to see. You don't need a fire that big. Keep it low and keep yourself warm that way. A bigger fire only means you're burning through more wood faster. There's no need to have this raging fire going. Because the other side of that coin is embers that fly away can fly off as far as, if I'm not mistaken, a mile or two. Especially a fire that big can float away a mile or two, land somewhere else, and start a fire there. You don't need a raging fire. You don't need to be the cause of a forest fire. As we've seen in the last couple of years, idiots that started forest fires. Don't be that guy. Don't cut down live trees, and definitely don't cut down a tree if you have no idea what you're doing. If the tree is deader than dead, you don't need to cut it down if you have no clue what you're doing. Stay away from felling trees if you have no clue what you're doing. If you have a clue what you're doing, make sure the tree is dead and then cut it down and process it like you would. But don't cut down a live tree, because you're not going to get, first of all, you cut down a live tree, that's an asshole move. That's one. Two, you're cutting down a live tree, you're not going to get that fire you want because the wood is still wet. It takes forever to burn unless your fire is raging. It takes forever to burn, and it creates a lot of smoke, more smoke than necessary. So don't cut down a live tree because it's, again, it's stupid and it's not going to really get you anything in anywhere other than, you know, if you're building a shelter, right? So if you're building a shelter and you're going to be there long term, some people say you can cut down saplings to create your shelter. That makes sense. But don't cut down a sapling thinking you're going to use it as firewood. It's not going to work that way. You're going to find out as soon as you throw it in there, it's going to create a lot of smoke and it's going to pop left and right. Don't be noisy and obnoxious. If you arrive to a campsite and you see campers in the distance, which is fairly close if you can see them, don't have a radio and speakers blasting and carrying on through the night. They want to sleep too. Hell, they could be AT hikers or the Pacific hikers. They just had a long day of hiking. They don't want to hear this shit all night. They don't want to hear the yelling and screaming, the music blasting. Don't be obnoxious. Put your headphones in, put the music low, face the speaker towards you, and then be respectful. You don't have to be obnoxious about carrying on and being there. Now, I know a lot of kids do go, for example, up in Harriman State Park, and they carry on and they're a bit obnoxious. But I've had no problem telling them, cut the shit, or it's going to be a bad night for you. And then that's it. I don't hear anything else. So don't be obnoxious. Don't be the asshole that has to be told to knock it off. Do not feed the wildlife. You hear that time and time again. I'm pretty sure it's all over the like wilderness websites for each state park. Don't feed the wildlife. And you sort of like, oh, well, why not? Yeah, it's cute if you feed the little ones, but now bigger animals come around and now they're looking for food, and now they're constantly looking for human food. They no longer want to eat whatever they were eating. They want to eat what you ate or what you were eating. And then they constantly come through camps looking for human food. Now, there hasn't been a huge problem, at least upstate New York, in a while with that, at least not to my knowledge. But you start feeding them, I don't know, Skittles, for example. They might want more Skittles. And they know that the only way they're going to get that is from a human, you. So they're going to keep coming back to the camp, rummaging through your stuff, especially if you leave your bag outside, maybe even trying to get into your tent to see if you have that. So don't feed the wildlife. Let them continue eating what they're eating. And when you're done eating what you're eating, pack it away and put it in a tree, like a bear bag or something, right? Do not set up your tent under deadfall, right? So if you see a branch hanging and you look up and you see a branch hanging, don't go, oh, this is a nice place to put my tent. Don't do it. Because a wind gust can come by, it could be a windy night, a rainstorm can come out of nowhere, and it can blow that deadfall off straight onto your tent, right? With you sleeping inside, of course. Or maybe you're not sleeping inside. Maybe you go on a hike, you come back, and here goes this giant log laying over your tent. When you're picking a campsite, make sure you survey the area, right? So know where you want to put your tent, look up. Now, when you look up, take a few steps back and then walk in a spiraling circle out so that you can see and make sure there's nothing hidden by other branches that's hanging above. Just a quick tip on looking for deadfall. And don't camp near dead trees. Dead trees, if they're ready to fall over and you're too close, the roots, as they pull and rip away, can rip you with the falling tree. You might not get hurt, but you'll definitely shift a couple feet if you get caught under a root that's, you know, being ripped away as the tree's falling down. Don't leave your gear everywhere, right? So now I've been to that campsite, you walk through and the guy has his shit all over the place. His bag there, his shoes here, his fire going here, his kitchen set over there, his tent here. Behind his tent is his bathroom, and he's all over the place, right? He's everywhere. Keep everything contained. When I go camping, I keep everything in my bag. When I cook, I have a little station or area that I cook in, and that's it. So there's a cooking area, my bag, and my tent. And my tent's usually, my bag is usually in my tent, or at least in the foyer area of my tent. If I have a hammock, I hang the bag on a tree next to the hammock, and then I cover the bag with a plastic tarp in case it rains, or in case birds decide to, you know, use the bathroom on my bag. So nonetheless, I stay in one area. I hate being sprawled out all over the place. Not that I hate seeing people do it, it's just annoying, especially if you come into the camp and you want to use a fire pit, but everything's all over the place. You have to ask them to move this, move that. So I mean, it's not a big to do, but it's annoying, that's all. If you don't have to, don't use all the firewood. I know I make it a habit to cut more than I'm going to use. And whatever I don't use, I leave for the next group or whoever's going to camp there the following week, night, whatever it is. I leave some firewood behind. Why do I do it? Because it's been done to me a few times, right? I get to a campsite, I'm like, oh, look at this. And you start the fire with the wood that was left behind, and we gather more. And we gather enough to leave some behind for the next group to use. If you can do it, by all means, leave some behind so that the person has to work less. Or maybe they're an old couple and they're looking to camp and hike and they see this wood for them. Then they use it. They might not replace it, but nonetheless, at least you're being, I guess, kind or nice, or whatever the term is you want to use. So like I said, if you don't have to use all of the firewood, don't. It's not necessary. Which leads me into boiling your water. Do not drink untreated water out in the wilderness. Now, I've been lucky over the years. I've been camping since I was 16. I've been drinking out of streams and rivers without boiling my water, and I've just been lucky. Now, some people say lucky, some people say I have a strong immune system. I don't know which one it is. I'm gonna go with a strong immune system just because it sounds better, but I've been doing it for years. But now that I'm getting older, I do treat my water, I boil it, and I do filter it. So make sure you filter and boil your water before you drink it. It is no fun getting sick, especially out there, if you don't treat the water and you get sick, especially if you planned a week being in the wilderness. Now we're gonna start with the do's. Do clean up after yourself. Don't leave garbage all over the place. If you do, go out, take a trash bag with you. They fit inside any camping bag, especially if you stuff it in one of the nooks and crannies. And use that if you absolutely have to. Every time I go to Harriman, I take a garbage bag with me because the park is dirty. Now, when I go further north to the Catskills or the Adirondacks, it's less of that I have to contend with, the less garbage I have to pick up. There is garbage, but it's way less than Harriman State Park. So, clean up after yourself. It is that simple. You use something, it's empty, you have a little trash bag for yourself, you put your garbage in that trash bag. Done. Right? Doesn't even have to be a big, grand garbage bag. It could be one of those little bathroom garbage bags, and you tie that into your bag as you walk out of the park. Do let people know where you are going. That's important. We all seen that movie. I think it's 127 hours. Probably had it wrong, but I'll put the right title down there. Let people know where you're going, right? Let people know exactly where you're going or the whereabouts of where you are, right? So if you're hiking through a park, let them know where you're going to start and where you're going to finish so they know where to look for you in between, should you not come back in a ample amount of time, right? So if you're out there too long and they know to look for you, they know exactly where to look for you, which leads me into sign the logbook when you're going into the wilderness, right? So every entrance, or just about every entrance to a hike has a board, right? And on this board, they tell you what animals are out there, what plants are, blooming at this time of the year, the map of the area, and then they have a little book that you sign, letting them know when you got there and when you should be heading out. So always sign those logbooks. They do come in handy because people do get lost, and they'll look at it and go, oh, he signed in 2 days ago. All right, if he followed this trail, he should be here. So it makes it easier for the rescuers, I think, and they just know they have a better timetable of how long you've been lost. Like I said before, pack your food away when you're done, put it inside of a bag and hang it. Whether it's a bear bag or that little bathroom garbage bag, tie it up, throw it in the tree, and leave it there. Just because animals are going to look to eat some food that you weren't supposed to feed them, that other people did before you, now they're looking for something you might have or something that smells familiar to them, and they're going to be rummaging through the food you left behind by the fire pit or even in your bag. So do yourself a favor and clean up after yourself, hang up your food, and try as best as you can to wipe the scent of food off of your hands and your mouth before you lay down. Animals can smell that, believe it or not. Another do that I don't think it goes unspoken or undone. No, that's wrong. I don't think people don't do it, but help other people if they need help. Whether they're injured, hurt, sick, help them. All right? Don't ignore them. Don't leave them. Don't act like you didn't hear them. Help them out. Because if you end up in that situation, you are, without a doubt, going to wish somebody was there to hear you or help you. So do yourself a favor. Somebody's in need, help them. Doesn't matter what it is. They need to be carried down. Try to carry them down. to help with other people, of course, to carry them down. Then go back for your gear if you have to in a couple of hours or a day later, whatever it is. But make sure you help a person. Don't leave them on their own. And if they are lost, help them. Some people seem to think that, oh, he's lost, he'll find his way. No. Give them the directions on how to get out of the park or get back to where they need to get back to. Carry a map and a compass. I don't know how many times people have, again, got lost because they didn't need a map or a compass because they were using their phone. Guess what your phone does? It runs out of batteries. So even with a solar charger, it is not, a lot of the solar chargers are not the greatest in the world. So don't rely on your phone. Have a map and a compass. Don't use a compass on your phone solely. It does work, but I wouldn't rely on it. Make sure you have a compass and a map. So if I missed anything, please write in the comment section what I missed or what I should have added. All right, guys, so this is The Angry Prepper. Thank you for watching. You can like and subscribe to this channel. You can also like and subscribe to my urban channel. And if you are into photography, I started a photography channel called The Angry Lensman channel. You can head over to there and check it out if you like. I also have a podcast channel now. You can follow me on podcasts, whether that's Google Play or Podbean, one of those, or iTunes. I'm on there, right? So you also want to follow me. If you want to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Tumblr, and Twitter. All right, guys, thank you for watching.